Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 25th of September. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have Regis Resources, Petronas Resources, Kaiser Reef, Harvest Technology Group and Tissue Repair. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you've signed up to the free newsletter, but our best recommendations come out on Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor Report. So make sure you are getting that report. But if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is in portfolio management. So if you'd like my personal help in managing your portfolio, then please call me. And the advice here is general only. So we've got a weekly chart here of Regis Resources. It is one that we've looked at before in the Dynamic Investor. Basically, we had a long-term base getting formed, and then the big buy signal was on the breakout. So it broke out of the base here about a year ago, came back to retest, and then has basically rallied really hard since then. So yeah, strong rally. At this point here, it got near the old highs, so we got a consolidation. It pulled back. If we move to the daily chart, we could see sort of dip there, rounded out, and now it's starting to rally strongly again. So we could see the big move here, breached that high, came back again, just a little consolidation to sit on that high, and now it's on the move. So still trading strongly, and I think it's still a buy on a dip. Okay, Petronas, so better to look at this one on a weekly chart. So as we could see here, it's it's trading in a bit of a sideways range. So it's still, I guess, within the boundaries of this range. It has rallied pretty hard recently, so it's now at the top of that range. So yeah, we could see that there's major resistance here just above 8 cents. So basically, just wait for the breakout. So I don't know if it might cool off again a little bit in the short term or not, but you'd be looking for a weekly close, essentially above this blue line. And if you were to get that, then I think you'd get a pretty strong rally. Okay, Kaiser Reef. So it looked like the recent buy signal was this breakout here. So we had a tightening range, breakout, big volume. That was the buy signal. So yeah, trading strongly, pushing above sort of nearby resistance levels. Here, just looking at those levels. So still pushing on. It's hard to know what it might do in the short term. Obviously little dips along the way, but just looking at this, you'd have to say that, beyond the short term, sort of longer term, chart's looking pretty good. HTG, so obviously massive decline here, seems to be flatlining. So I guess at best we could say, well, maybe it's now forming a base. Still early days though. Bit of volume recently on the way up. So perhaps it's trying to come up and now test the upper boundaries there, test the resistance. So we'd have that around, what is that, about 30 cents. So I think essentially you'd just be waiting for a weekly close above this line. 3 cents, not 30 cents. So I think if you get a weekly close above that, then that would be the buy signal. Would be breaking out of the base, and then you should expect a decent rally. TRP finally. So this is the weekly chart. This is all we've got. So we could see that in the past few years, it's just been trading sideways, essentially range bound. I mean, potentially, we could see there was a bit of support here at 20 cents. Broke under that for a period of time and then ripped back above it. So, maybe you could say that's a false break. Did spend a bit of time under that line though. So if it is a false break, then you'd expect a new uptrend, and it seems to be trading well. We've got a strong move here. Now it looks like it's consolidating. So essentially you'd be looking at some kind of break from this range. So if it could sort of break to the upside from here, I think that would be the next buy signal. Okay, well that's all for this week. So if you have a request, send it through and we'll try to cover it next Thursday.